Welcome to Pocket Watch Podcast. I'm Zach,
Cruz,
Jake, and we're fucking Pocket Watch Podcast.
Yes, sir. Laugh at us or learn with us. We're here to grow.
And growing, we're fucking doing, man. Welcome to Pocket Watch Podcast. I'm Zach,
Cruz,
Jake,
Jasmine.
Hey, I know y'all heard the switch up. We got another guest for you guys today.
That's right. It's Jasmine, aka Jazzysurf on Instagram. Woo. What is the Instagram? At
Jazzysurf.
Like straight up 2 Z's.
Yep.
And as always, in the description below, you'll have her information. So go check her stuff out.
Check her out. She's super cool, super interesting. She's the definition of like don't stay boxed in and stuff like that, right? Like do a bunch of different stuff because it's really cool. Like this is gonna be an interesting conversation because I think of that a lot too. Because it's like we all must, right? It's like doing a podcast or living in this world. Like in addition to whatever life you're living, it's like don't define me. I do whatever the fuck I want. You do whatever the fuck you want, Jasmine.
Aww,
surfer, pre-med, doing cancer research. Has some interesting stories on Hospice. 20 years old, very impressive.
teaching kids how to surf.
Yep, teaching kids how to surf. You would have a hard time trying to teach me how to surf.
No, you guys would all do fine.
Okay, wait, okay.
I naturally float, so I'll be good. I'll be like a big old.
She's like, yo, that's not how. Zach,
I'll be like a natural buoy. Just
we'll surf Zach.
No, you guys are all.
You trained me to surf
shredders.
Zach. But thank you again, those of you guys tuning in to Pocket Watch Podcast every week. We love you. You guys are the family. Make sure you like, follow, share, subscribe, comment, whatever the case is. However you want to communicate. We love you guys. Thank you so much.
Yep, and then check the description down below. We have the donations going now. So if you guys want to donate to the cause, we do appreciate you guys. And like we have been saying weekly, we're gonna go ahead and have some stuff started up with subscription based stuff. So stay tuned for that. And the people who are donating now are gonna kind of get like grandfathered in and get a little goodie bags for that whenever we get everything going.
Yeah, we got merch and shit. We already gave out
merch.
Some of them. Yes. Anyways, let's get to it. Jasmine, Jazzy,
You're on the hot seat.
All right. That's what's up.
So, I don't even know how I want to open this. All right, so I also want to talk. Let's just start with this one. What made you decide to do pre-med? You're going to try to be a doctor. You're going to be a doctor.
God willing, yeah.
God willing. You're, 2 years into college right now, right? So you're getting into your junior year or no?
I mean, I went in as a senior kind of because I did all that dual enrollment stuff, so I went in with a good amount of credits.
Great job.
My idea was just to go in and get it done as fast as I could to just go and apply. But there's a lot of stuff you need to do, like research, you need to have a hospital job, all this crazy stuff. So I was like, you know what, we'll slow down, take our time with it.
Applied for what? To UCF's pre-med program or something?
Oh, no, just applying to medical school in general.
You need to have those types of experience and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a lot more than just grades, it's all that research, it's clinical opportunities, shadowing, volunteering outside of medicine, anything like that.
So, when did you graduate high school?
2021.
2021,
yeah.
So that was 2 years ago. You were 18?
Yes.
Okay, so at that point you were at what point, because I saw on the last podcast that you were on, at what point did you say I want to do this in a year? Or something like that?
It was going into my senior year of high school. That's why I decided to do the dual enrollment things. And they actually were you can't take that many credits. But I was like, oh no, I want to take 20 credits because it's paid for through the high school. So I kind of petitioned with some people there, and then they let me sign up for the credits. And I was just after being boxed in with COVID, I was just ready. I needed a goal, any goal, and I was just gonna go all towards it.
Really?
That's badass.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So you've pretty much right, because you said you went in, you graduated pretty much going in a senior or close to a senior, with as far as credits and stuff.
Like 80 or more credits going in. Yeah.
Wow.
Shit.
That's crazy for dual enrollment time too, because it's not usually that many for dual enrollment.
Yeah, you're over
Yeah.
halfway. You're like a super junior.
They were like,
Super
you can't.
junior. Super junior.
60 or 70
No,
for
that's
an
crazy.
associate.
So you did that your senior year.
Yeah, they were like, you can't take that many credits, but I was like, hey,
Watch
if it's
me.
free, I'm going to save money, and I have nothing better to do because COVID just happened. I was like, I was like chemistry, physics, bio, math, anything. I was like, give me all the classes you can give me.
Wow.
those
So
are tough ones,
COVID
too.
made you, another guest.
Yeah, another guest that grinded during COVID. We have like a following trend where we've had a lot of people that have done like a lot of cool things recently, and almost all of them got started during COVID. So it's really cool to
Really?
see. Yeah.
No, okay. Anyway, so you said at one point you were in high school, your senior year of high school, COVID hits. That might have helped. I'm not gonna lie, I don't know what the hell is up with COVID, but it was a blessing to some people.
Yeah, man.
But you were like, I'm gonna do all this in 1 year.
Yeah, my plan was,
Was it for the money? I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Was it for the
Because
money?
you said it, right? You said, no, high school's paying and stuff. Like, was it a financial move for you, too?
I mean, like, it was both because, you know, my parents, they, like, wanted to help me for college, but I didn't go in assuming that. I was just assuming in my mind it was all on me. So I was like, hey, like, the only way to save money, you know, like, just do these classes while I can, get as many credits as I can.
That's smart.
Yeah.
Wow.
Makes sense.
Okay. Yo,
I wish I
you
had
are
my head on.
Yo, you're like mad mature and like super thought. Like, I feel like you gotta, like, I always accredit the way I think to like working with like older people that fucked up a lot or not, like doing good. Like, you get to just like working with older people is different than working on like a Forever 21 or something like that. And I always attributed like my realism to that. But like, from you've just been in school, like people can't wait to say, oh, this person's been in school their whole life, they don't understand life, like, you know what I mean? Like, they can't wait to say like they're just some nerd or something like that, right? Like, that's a thing. No?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think so. Like,
I don't get that from you is my point, though.
Oh.
Yeah, like that's
Thank you.
that's very like
It's just, yeah. I mean, think about it. When we were seniors, none of us would have wanted to do a program.
That's what I was
Now,
going to say.
Right now, I would love to have known that I could done it, and I would have wanted to do it. But, you know, like, at that time, I was
and that's what I'm
stupid.
saying.
I
We're
was
26, 27 years
Yeah.
old. And it's just like, we were so dumb when we were your age.
Sorry.
No,
She's
I
20.
mean, it's just like, you know, everyone matures at a different rate, and girls usually faster, but I think COVID kind of pushed it for a lot of people,
Yeah.
because I remember during COVID, I just, like, needed something to do. I remember I applied to 8 McDonald's and every Walmart in the area, and I didn't get a, like, call back from any of them.
No.
I just, like, wanted something to do, so I would wake up in the morning and go on an 18-mile bike ride, and it was just, like, I didn't have that much far to, like, bike, so I would just, like, go the same route a few times, and then run a few miles, and then take my dog kayaking, just like anything, because I just needed something to do.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you have a lot of discipline, it seems like, honestly. Like, for yourself, self-discipline.
No, is it discipline or is it just like wired? Like you have to just get up and go do something, or is it like do you easily fall into like? Because I know so many people, including myself, that had to like. I did a lot of stuff too for sanity, but like very easily there were spurts during COVID that I was just Netflix and chilling. Right, like I was just watching Netflix and eating like a piece of crap. Do you is that a discipline thing, or do you feel like you would be like unhappy doing that instead of like going out and doing something?
I mean, like, during COVID, I definitely had some of that, like, Netflix binging stuff, but it was because my family wanted to do it, and I just wanted to hang out with them because I love them. So I was just down to do whatever they wanted to do. But have you guys, like, heard of David Goggins? Like, have you read his book or seen his podcast or
Jacob
anything?
doesn't read, but
No.
Goggins.
David Goggins?
Yeah,
He's
David.
like a Navy SEAL guy.
He's the Navy SEAL guy. It's like,
Yeah.
if you don't wake up, life ain't gonna come to you. You have to go get life.
Yeah.
You have to grab life by
Yeah, I
the
know what
balls
you're talking
and
about.
eat them raw.
I know what you're talking about.
That's what David. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's
Is that
a
how he talks?
bro.
He's a beast.
When I listen to him, when I say I'm like, I'm unworthy. I'm a piece of shit.
He does those super marathons and stuff.
Yeah, bro.
that guy.
Yeah, like
yeah.
he talks about pissing blood and stuff after running so long.
Yeah, he's a
Yeah.
monster, bro.
Jasmine's like,
Cool.
yeah, that guy.
Yeah, I think that guy's awesome, and I think it's like
He's my idol.
honestly, he is. Yeah,
dope.
because I always was like kind of like this. Like even in elementary school, I would like make flashcards for gym, like when we had
Yeah.
a test, like just stuff like that. And obviously, I don't run like ultra marathons or anything, but like school wise, I feel like I have that mentality. Because when I read his book, it was like everyone before was telling me they're like, this is not healthy, like what you're thinking, like in your mind and stuff, because it's like you need to be more balanced or you need to chill a little bit.
Yeah.
Like I've been told like you have no
People
chill.
tell you that all the time, right?
Yeah, and
Huh.
so like when I read his book, I was like, I've never related to someone this much. And obviously, I'm not that badass. Like I don't run ultra marathons until like I'm like my legs are broken or anything like
Yeah.
that. But like with like being like, okay, I'm gonna stay up and pull an all-nighter, and then I'm gonna go work and then do this and this and this and like love it, and I like love the adrenaline I get from it.
That's your own marathon right there.
Yeah, when I was reading his book and like kind of seeing what was going through his mind, I'm like, I've never related to anyone more, and obviously I'm nowhere near David Goggins level with that stuff, but I don't know.
I feel like you're a more disciplined, organized version of how I am with everything, because like for me, like when I'm focused on something, it's just like that's all I care about. That's all I really do in that moment. But you seem a lot more organized and disciplined than me.
Do you have a boyfriend?
I do not have a boyfriend.
So the reason why I say that is because, like, okay, like for instance, there's yings and yangs in relationships that are needed, right? And most of the time, on average, the guy is the one that acts the way you are acting, right?
Really?
Yeah, I mean, no, and there's. Trust me. There's the guys.
I was about to say there's a lot of boss. There's a lot of boss.
No, I wasn't getting in that vibe.
No,
like, you're
actually,
good, you're good.
let me keep this.
Yeah.
There are most of the time there are more guys that I feel like are the way you are.
Yeah.
And there's like biological I'm getting bad.
No,
But
you're
like,
good, you're good. I don't want to get offended.
There you go.
one of the things I saw.
Cruz, the sex is activated. Your roommate's gonna get pissed.
I'm talking. I saw a TikTok. This is where I get my medical information. Correct me if I'm wrong. Here we go.
Medical information from
let's hear it.
TikTok.
No, but it was a girl just kind of explaining how like a guy gets a testosterone boost like when he wakes up, right? And that's his, and then he has like a 1 day type of hormone cycle, and this is in general, right? Where a woman is literally going through a different hormone cycle like all month, kind of, right? And then like hits their peak at whenever their period is or whatever, right? And it's like, I'm not gonna lie, like my girl kind of showed me that, and I kind of looked and I was like, look, first of all, doesn't mean shit, right? Sometimes, right? But also, like, if you're not built like you, I kind of understand the on average girl, you know what I mean? That kind of like fluctuates, has like they're going through, you guys are going through so much more than we have to go through.
Like
Hormonal wise.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like that happens. Like that takes a turn. And I say all that to say, I'm sorry, but like that was the thing. I think more guys think like you. There's so many girls that think like you too, but less than girls that think like you. I think more girls don't. And there's always a yin and yang in a relationship, or not, or like, you know, something. It's just gonna be interesting. I can't wait to see your dating life. Have you had weird dating experiences?
I mean, like what I gotta say for the girls that are kind of like me, I think, because I know some girls that are kind of like hyper independent females, right? Not saying it's a bad thing, and I'm kind of like that too, right? But like there's certain guys, like when I've been out with certain men, you know, I know within like the first few dates if it's someone I can turn off my brain with, because those guys, it's like, I'm like all day, I'm like, okay, running nonprofit, cancer research, school, this and that, right? My brain's going, I'm like, I got to take care of everything. There's some guys, I don't know what's about it, but like, I'll be with them and like my brain turns off and it's like, they got it. Like, I don't have to worry about anything. If I got a problem, go to them with it. Like, they'll help me fix it. If I'm feeling like emotional, you know, like they'll be that kind of rock I need. So
yeah.
But some guys like have it, some guys don't. I don't know what it is. Yeah.
And it's also important to make sure that like you also get with somebody too that also helps fuel the spark for your ambitions too.
Right.
Damn.
The guys that make you forget, do you think they're like super ambitious like you too, or what kind of type is that?
Like normally, I'm just saying in general, you know, like I'm not dating anyone right now, but normally like the guys that, you know, when I'm hanging out with them, you know, kind of dating like that. And it's like they're pretty ambitious, but they kind of have like a more calm energy than me.
And
so
like that's the yin that you need.
Yeah, that's exactly what you're saying. You got that like right on the dot. But it's like sometimes I feel overwhelmed, you know. And you're right. Like there's times like before I have my period, you know, where those hormones are like kind of going off the walls, and it's like I've taken everything too seriously or something like that. And I just need someone to kind of like give me a big hug and be like, hey, you know, it's okay. And not be like, you can't do this, or like, you're not smart enough to do this, or like you're taking on too much. But be like, no, it's good what you're doing, but like I'm here if you need me, or like what can I do to help?
Yeah.
Like when I go to them and I don't have to like be doing all like the different problem solvings like I normally do in the day. Like that's the type of like guys I can turn off my brain with and kind of be like, I don't know, I'd say like more submissive with, you know, and just kind of stop the hyper feminine, like, or not hyper feminine, but like hyper independent, like drive there. Yeah.
And but like cool. Especially because you're just dating and you're young and you're doing all this shit anyways, right? Like you said before we started recording, which is interesting, is like your ultimate goal in life is to be a mom.
Yeah, that is true.
That's your ultimate goal. Like your dream goal is to be a mom.
Like if I could pick one thing to accomplish in life, you know, if they were like you can only pick one thing, I would 100% without a doubt choose to be a mom, whether that's having my own kids or adopting them or both. Like, whatever God's plan is for that, I want to be a mom.
That's good. That's good. That's your goal.
We're talking about somebody that runs a nonprofit, does surfing lessons, this and that, modeling, pre-med, getting ready to go to med school, does cancer research, and like her ultimate goal is to be a mom. I think that's really beautiful and cool. And it doesn't mean shit. Like, that's not what I meant. What I mean is like, you will always get that Jacob's reaction for that statement.
I'm sorry, because you can accomplish so much.
But like, it doesn't mean you can, like, that's what she prioritizes, right?
Yeah.
So it doesn't mean she can't do those other things that you could have as your ultimate goal. But like, she's kind of like, no, I'm cool. It's kind of like that happiness statement that we talked about, right?
Yeah, that's what I was getting ready to say. Not just that, but it's also like, whenever we talk about like things like that, I've always said like, if I was to die right now and I didn't get to be a father, I feel like I didn't get to live life. Because like my biggest I feel like that right there, like if I don't ever get to experience being a father, then like that right there is like you don't get to live life. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's super important.
Awesome.
I give it to you because I even to my girl too. I'm like, you know what? Like I do. Like, she doesn't want kids.
But
I want kids. So
that's a weird mix, but okay.
Me and her, me and my girl, kind of similar too.
I want kids. I want to be a dad. I want to show my kid how this is how a father should be.
We gotta convince our girls to have kids.
Exactly,
really?
but but it's not like the goal.
We're trying to
honestly,
trap
it is something I want to have. I just think in your position, 20 years old, it got a lot ahead of you to accomplish. Of course, I think that'd be your first goal. I thought that'd be like maybe your third or fourth goal.
Like I don't want to have kids right now. Okay, like let's clear
She's
that.
not talking about timing.
Like it's not right now, right? Like
she's saying life.
Cool.
Life
that's what I'm trying to say. All right, cool.
Yeah,
cool.
no, like that's like if I could pick one goal, like for an overarching thing, and it kind of governs all my other goals. So like when I was doing that thing where I was like, I want to try to apply to med school after 1 year, a big factor of me like stopping that and being like, we need to take a little longer on it is because like things like stop like having your periods or like not taking good care of your health that can affect your reproductive system. And so that was the main driving factor. I was like, I don't really give a shit about my health, but I'm like, oh, my future kids' health, I'm like, that's something I need to stop and think about.
Is it a thing like if you're at like the perfect mind state and flow and body health, you have the best? That you're right? Like, doesn't your kid get your chromosomes and all that stuff like at the point in time that you give it to them, right?
I mean, I don't think I can give any like medical
DNA.
advice.
You're better than us. Yes, you can. Welcome to Park and Watch Podcast.
He said, yes, you can.
We don't fact check here.
Okay, if you
Do you
don't
agree
fact
with
check,
that? Does that sound good?
We don't fact check.
We fact check after we're editing and stuff.
I mean, I think that stress in general definitely can cause mutations in your DNA which would like lead to them to be abnormal and things like that. So I think as long as you can kind of like bring yourself back to homeostasis as often as possible and be chill and have less stress in your life, it's healthier for all your systems.
And that right there.
Think about how many NFL babies were made off of bad productions, like
what?
What?
Nah.
How many people that went to the NFL that were with moms who were drunk or just on drugs, but they got there because self-discipline, just that.
What?
I'm just sorry.
No, you're right. You're right because a lot of like some of these people in the DMs, right? Like some of these like NFL, like baseball players, all that stuff, right? They all have kids. Yeah, and it's like it's kind of like a secret, but then if you kind of like do a little research, you're like, oh dang, they got like a few kids and like they don't really look alike, so I don't know what was happening when
not
they
all
were
of them
like,
end up okay too, like some of them do, not all of them.
Yeah, no, some of them are like good dads and all that, I'm sure, but it's like no, like you know what I'm saying, but I'm sure like the ones that are like probably not sliding into like 19, 20-year-old girls DMs, like those guys are probably not like purposely trying to have the kids.
No,
Yo, I feel so bad. Yo,
am I gonna get canceled for that?
No, it's okay.
This is
what is some of the DMs you get?
We haven't got canceled yet, so you're good.
We got canceled. That's no rest in peace. 105 The Block Radio. We got canceled once.
That was your fault, Cruz.
For no reason.
For no reason. Okay. Anyways, we're moving forward before we get fucking cease and desist letters again. We're moving forward.
Anyways, yo, what were you talking about, Zach?
We were talking about being a father and a mother and
you were
stuff.
talking about her DMs. Who's been her DMs?
Yo, what does your DMs look like? You just dropped that you had some athletes and shit like that in your DMs. Like how? What does that look like? And when did that start? Because You just got to college, right?
Yeah, so I mean, it started like as soon as I turned 18, you know, because I started doing some modeling stuff like that. But now I see them, and I'm probably assuming if they're sliding into my DMs and like they don't know me and they're kind of like older, I just kind of like block them right away.
Yeah,
like don't answer it. Or if they have like kids or a wife or like something, like just automatically block them. It doesn't matter how famous you are or anything like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but when I was 19, it was my first semester in college. I got a DM from someone I was on my favorite basketball team, and I guess like he followed me back because I was like such a big fan of this basketball team. So I followed the page, I was following the players, and I was like super stoked to keep up with everything. And yeah, he followed me back and invited me to a Halloween party, and I said no. I was like, I have an organic chemistry test on Monday, and it was like a Friday night party, but I was like a really big nerd, so I was like, I have to study the whole weekend. And then my little brother, he was like, actually wanted to be like, no, you should go. That's kind of dope, you know? Like, my mom was like, yeah.
Is this an NBA player? Or?
Yeah.
What?
On an NBA team.
So you're 19?
What team? What's your favorite team?
No,
you won't drop names. You won't drop names.
No, I want team. But what's your favorite basketball team, though?
Well, they're not my favorite team anymore.
Damn it, you guys.
No names, but teams.
Okay,
teams.
yeah, no, ever since I was little, Orlando Magic fan.
Bam.
That's why I was following
Shaquille O'Neal, not playing.
No, for sure. Orlando.
And no wonder why he would invite you to the Orlando Magic.
Okay.
You know, it's right here in Orlando.
So you're 19, first year of college, and NBA player asks you to come to a Halloween party. Like, yo, you should come. Boom, boom, boom. You're like, fuck, I have a test.
Yeah. First semester of college. I was like...
But your brother and your mom's like fans. Like, yo, it's Magic, so you gotta go.
Yeah, and also I think they think I'm like kind of like just like stay in my room nerd type of thing, you know, but... Like, they were like, yeah, you should go. I'm like, I don't have, like, a costume. She's like, my mom's like, no, just go get, like, kind of, like, a skanky Halloween costume. Like, it'll be fine.
Yo.
Your mom tried to put you on.
Your mom's cool as fuck.
I asked the guy, I was like, so after my mom was like, and my brother was like, yeah, you should go. You know, my little cousins, big basketball fans, they're like, yeah, you should go. They're like, tell us what players you see there. Because it was a team party, so the whole team was there. And, so I was like, all right, you know, I invited one girl I knew from Instagram. I did like a fitness type thing with her before. And so we got some costumes and like we went, and I did fail my test the following Monday, and that was the last party I went to.
Oh no, that's so sad.
When was the party? Damn. Saturday?
It was
Friday night, she said.
Yeah, it was a Friday night one, but I was planning on studying like the whole weekend, and it was organic chemistry. So I got a 56 on the test, but the class average was a 60.
Yeah,
so
is that
it
type
wasn't
of
like
class.
that bad. So I guess everyone failed, but I was still like...
You took it hard. You took it personal.
Yeah, and I was like, wow. But
you should have been the 61.
Was the party fun, though?
The party, yeah, like
was
they
the party
had like
fun?
It was like open. It was open bar, and for like legal purposes, I didn't drink or anything, right? And also, I had a test. I had a test to study for.
That, you know,
I got water. Okay, I got water, but
water with
cool.
tequila.
No, okay. For legal purposes, no drinking was done at this event.
Cool.
But I met like a bunch of the players, and some of them hit me up, and then I immediately blocked them too because I was like, wait, this is like really bad decision. And so after that, I was like, I got to get my shit together. So I got to study and pass this test.
If you're trying to achieve your ultimate goal.
I mean, how bad of a decision it could be depending on your goals, obviously. Your goals are way more smarter than a lot of
those. No, like we went into that. Like me and my friend, we were like, before we had that conversation, we were like, okay, so we're just going to this to see how it is. Like we're not leaving with anyone, right? And she was like, yeah, we're not. And so we didn't. And I still studied later that night. I got back at 3 a.m. and I studied after that.
That's dumb.
After the party?
Yeah.
You're crazy. You're a David Goggins daughter, bro.
You are.
That could
you're strong-minded. A lot of people started their OnlyFans right then and there.
I'm
about other players.
I plan like crazy, but because I plan, sometimes I stop planning because it makes me procrastinate because I'm like constantly like, all right, well now if I just like wake up at this time and do this at this time and do this and this and this, and then if I don't do that, then I'm like, all right, so now I got to try to like, if I do it at this early at this time, then I could like study until this time and I could get some sleep, and then anyways.
And then it's like a lot of time remaking the plan.
You just did it.
You just pop an Adderall out in the morning and you just start working hard.
You take Adderall?
That's how I used to do in
college.
No,
I don't.
You don't? Okay, yeah, good for you.
Just
no, smart for
I definitely drink way too much caffeine, though. I have like a caffeine addiction for sure.
Like
but that's okay. We're young.
Right
no, that's methamphetamines.
What?
I mean, like, do you guys like drink caffeine to keep you going?
I
like,
drink.
You can't.
What's your caffeine of choice?
My caffeine of choice.
Mine's is Celsius.
Celsius. I like Celsius.
Well, I started. I drink C4 now. C4 energy.
That's terrible.
That's like a pre-workout.
That's a fucking energy.
dude.
We said energy drinks, not fucking pre-workouts, bro.
No, but they sell it as an energy drink in the gas station.
So he
Does it
has,
make you itchy?
so he has.
I get the tingles. I fucking love it.
He has severe ADHD, so they say that caffeine has the opposite effect on people with ADHD. So
I don't know. I hate caffeine. I can't drink it.
Maybe it works out good for him. Maybe it helps bring the level.
I like the tingles. I just like the tingles.
Yo, okay, let's reel it in.
So that's the point.
We're reeling it in.
Reeling it in.
Yo, you said you worked at a. Okay, first of all, how did you start surfing? It's funny. Your name's Jazzysurf, and then we talked about a bunch of other shit. But it was good. It was cool. I like that.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
how did you start surfing?
Surfing?
Yeah, because we live in Florida. I think people think we all should know how to surf, and it's like no. Like I have family up north and stuff, and they think I should know how to surf. And I'm like, no, shut up. Only Jazz knows how to surf.
I mean, I started surfing in elementary school. I used to do like swim team, and we had practice at like 5 in the morning to like 6:30. And then afterwards in the summer, like my friend was gonna go surfing, and I was like, nah, like I'm not doing that. I'm gonna go back to sleep. But she was like, no, come out one time. And so I went out, and it was like kind of sucked because I was tired and like I didn't want to be out there. But after
5 years old, you're talking about right now?
No, like in elementary school, but practice for swim was like 5 in the morning to like 6:30.
Oh, okay.
So afterwards, we like went surfing, and it sucked at first, but then I caught a wave, and like anyone who surfs will tell you, like you catch the first wave and you're hooked.
Really?
It's like a drug, and then you just like want to keep on going out and out and out and out.
Catch a wave, catch a wave, catch a wave.
Have you ever had any close encounters with like sharks or anything like that?
Yeah, I love sharks. Yeah.
What is your problem?
Like we did night surfing one time at the pier, and it was like a full moon, and everyone had like the glow sticks on. I even took my mom out there. I was like, yeah, we're gonna go surf, and there's a lot of people, so I figured if it's like there was a shark, you have pretty good odds, right? It's not just like it's not just you.
It's like okay,
you might die,
I can definitely swim faster than my mother, so
No. My mom would definitely outswim me. She's fit, but like
that's funny.
there was a ton of people, and like there was one person on top of the pier, right? One of her friends, and she was videotaping it. There was like one spotlight into the water, and she was like, yeah, she's like, I can see like the sharks going underneath you guys.
Sharks, like plural.
Yeah, like the sharks. And then when I was like teaching in New Smyrna, like when I was doing more surf instructing, New Smyrna is like what, like the shark bite capital of the world, right?
I've heard that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Why.
Is it really the shark bite capital of the world?
Yeah, like I know one time I think so, but it's not like great whites. It's like probably like black tip and stuff like
Either
that.
way, your ass gonna have a high odds of getting bit.
But yeah, I don't want to go to another.
true.
You guys don't want to go to another beach, like there's a bunch of other beaches around there. You just stick to New Smyrna.
I mean, I usually surf in Cocoa Beach, but when I used to teach, a lot of like the kids would go vacation in New Smyrna, and so like their parents would want lessons over there. But I was teaching a surf camp once, and there was just this like shark head floating, like it was off of the body, so I guess someone fished and like threw it back. Yeah, and it was just a shark head with like the teeth and everything in it. And the kids were really stoked to see it too. Like we picked it up, we were looking at it. But yeah, there's been some times too I was like surfing and there would be like a spinner shark jump out of the water, and it's just like, I don't know. I feel like you have a better chance of like getting in a car crash or something. Oh like
yeah,
that,
statistically speaking, yeah.
They get your arm eaten off by
but shark. Also, statistically speaking, but the more time you spend in the water, the more time those odds are also increased too.
But it's kind of like, I don't know, like if you get shot, right? Like if you get shot and then you survive it, don't you get some like street cred for that? So it's like in the surf community, I feel like if you get bit by a shark and then it's like you're like, yeah, I got bit by a shark.
So like in elementary school,
honestly, you should have got that shark head and sliced your hand with it.
I'll be like, yeah, you guys.
Yeah,
like,
shark bit me. I punched him in the forehead. Now look at this.
But like in elementary school, you never watched that video of the girl who got her arm bit off by the shark?
Bethany Hamilton.
And you never scared you to not want to fuck with sharks?
She said that was sick.
Hey,
That's why I never wanted to go in the ocean. Because of that girl. I used to watch this shit in elementary and be like, yo, that's scary as fuck.
No, okay. Let me say before I get canceled here, I don't think her getting her arm bit off was sick. I think she's a sick person. Like, she's super awesome.
She kept going afterwards. She kept actually surfing.
That was my favorite movie. And my uncle, he's a surf judge in Hawaii, right?
Yeah.
And so he was actually in that movie as a surf judge just for like a second. But I was like, I loved that movie. That was an awesome movie. Yeah.
Are you Hawaiian?
No. What?
Talking about Hawaiian, did you guys hear the Americans Idol winner?
I fucking love them. We're not on that. I love the Imtongi.
Imtongi, he won. Shout out to Imtongi.
We're not going into that.
I just wanted to shout out to Hawaii. They had their first win, but yeah.
Yeah, it was amazing. He's an amazing singer.
Yeah.
But
congrats, Jazz.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks.
No, you could have passed as Hawaiian. What are you? What's your ethnicity?
I'm not really sure. I mean, I think I'm like a quarter Filipino and then like some other stuff, maybe.
So it's a mix.
Yeah, it's like some brown and some white.
So you got really good at surfing, like New Smyrna. Where's New Smyrna? Is that Tampa area?
Cocoa area.
Cocoa area?
Yeah, I'm from Cocoa Beach area.
Yeah.
You
So
know?
you got good waves out there.
I mean, like, sometimes
sure.
they're good, sometimes they're shit. Like, after a hurricane, that's when we used to go out. And, like, no parental supervision. Like, I think we probably, like, almost drowned a few times. But it was just fun because you get, like, adrenaline. But after a hurricane, it will take, like, 40 minutes to get out there, like, paddle out because the waves are big, you know, and there's, like, the rip current, everything like that. But I don't know, you just get on a big wave and then it closes out and you just, like, free fall, basically. Or at least I do because I'm not, like, a pro surfer or anything like that. I just like to do it.
Yeah.
But one time, like, I remember I was, like, chest on the bottom of the sand, you know, and, like, it was, like, a 10-foot wave, which is bigger than it sounds, like, when you're, like, paddling out there.
That's huge.
It was, like, pressing me down on the sand. I just remember I was, like, so much adrenaline. I was like, this is awesome. Like, it was fun.
I would have been like, I'm meeting the Lord Savior today.
No, it's like you had to like stay calm, and it's just like kind of like a meditative like state underwater. But I tell the kids when they wipe out, obviously not on those waves, but like on the little ones, I'm like, yeah, just like protect your head. I'm like, it's like a dance party underwater, and like they're not scared anymore. They're like, yeah, like dance party underwater, you know, just like they're tumbling, but they're having fun.
Yeah, like it's not that crazy, and that's the thing too. Like they always talk about like the people that have a lot of resistance on car accidents versus people that are like relaxed in car accidents.
I don't hear that.
That's why the drunk drivers.
Drunk people get safe and they're freaking amazing.
Because it's just how relaxed they are.
Die.
Either way, it doesn't matter. It's just like the point is be relaxed in the situation.
Well, speed don't usually kill people. It's usually the sudden stop that kills you. So
yeah, well, either way, that 10-foot wave, like. In perspective, like imagine if your head was sitting on the ground and somebody 10 foot tall was walking.
Well, the peak of your sailing's probably 10
like
foot.
That's like to your roof almost.
Yeah, the
like
peak of your sailing's 10 foot.
Yeah, no, that's scary. I can't.
That's pretty scary.
So I've heard that California has some of the best surf spots. Have you ever been out in California?
I mean, like I've been to California, but it was before I like was even into surfing. But I heard it's like hella cold there, so I'm good with like
you need a
Florida.
wetsuit. Yeah,
warm weather, warm water.
Have you ever been scuba diving or anything like that before?
I haven't been scuba diving. Like my family, like my grandparents, my mom, they all were like scuba certified.
Yeah,
and all that stuff out in California, you know, where it's freezing and everything like that. But I don't know, it doesn't seem as fun to have like all that stuff strapped on you. But I guess I haven't tried it, so I can't really speak on it.
You can do snorkel too. They have like a lot of cool, like you can go like snorkel hunting for that. Go like lobster diving and stuff like that. That's always cool too.
Yeah.
Why do that when you could just surf?
How did you start modeling?
That's the thing, though.
How did you start modeling?
For the modeling stuff, it was when in my senior year of high school, I like just turned 18, and I started my nonprofit that year. And
the surf lessons?
Yeah, and so some of the companies that were like helping out with that were like, hey, we'll give the kids like all this free stuff, or like we'll give you some money for this. Like all we want you to do is just kind of like put on a bikini and like pose with some of our stuff. And I was like, that's what's up. I was like, I can do that.
That's
and
smart though. Yeah.
So I'm doing it for the kids.
Dope.
I was now it's like now I took it like a little bit further now.
Yo,
but at
there's
first
a lot
it was
of guys
like,
on Instagram that appreciate the kids too, I guess.
It's all for the kids. We're gonna give you likes for the kids, bro. That's it.
No, seriously, I think probably a majority of them have been like all those brands and everything. There's a few that were just like paid separately, but a lot of them we kind of like had a deal where like, hey, like if you do some modeling, then we'll give you some stuff for the kids. Like we'll give them all T-shirts or hats or something. I was like, yeah, that's awesome. We have like 40 kids, so that's a lot of money. Yeah,
of course. You like.
I mean, actually giving stuff to the kids. That's wild.
Even like the modeling thing and stuff is like it's for the kids. Like you're fucking like perfect. You're like, I got you, motherfucker. I was trying to like, oh, let's see what's wrong with her. Nope.
No, I mean I definitely got stuff wrong with me, but I mean like everyone does, you know.
Yeah. No, and I think
that sounds like a PR trained answer.
Yo, you know exactly what to say.
He's calling me out.
Yeah, it's for the kids. It's like, no, I'm a bad bitch and I want to show my. No, I'm just playing.
Wow, no, that's not what it's about.
I'm like, all I do is just walk around with my ass hanging out. Like that's.
Might as well take some pictures. I'm already surfing
for the kids. All right, not for you guys on Instagram.
Yeah.
All right, next. You did so like you keep talking about 18. All right, like you already like graduated from high school. You already did like your associate's degree and like and some change on top of that. You started your nonprofit. You're surfing. You're teaching surf lessons. You're doing modeling, this and that. At what point did you start working in the hospice?
Damn.
Well, so, okay, this, if you want to get me on one thing that wasn't correct or, like, legal, I guess, was that I applied for that job while I was still in high school because they said minimum after your CNA training, you need a high school diploma.
What's CNA training?
Certified nursing assistant.
Okay.
So I would, for my last semester of high school, I went to, like, my classes during the day, and then I did the certification classes at night. And then, so I wanted to apply for this job, and I was, like, got the associate's degree before the high school diploma. And so I was like, hey, so it's the minimum. So I applied with that. And then they delayed my start date because I didn't graduate high school yet. But then I started, like, right after I graduated high school.
Oh, that's cool. That's really cool.
So I did do something wrong there.
So how was the experience of, like, the hospice, you know?
Yo, don't call me stupid. What is a hospice?
Hospice is where you go to basically...
you're going to die. You have a couple, like, months or
end of life
left.
care.
Yeah, so basically they try to make you as comfortable as possible for your passing.
Yeah, that's a perfect way to put it, yeah.
That's the best way to put it,
Yeah, so, like, if you have pain problems, they usually give you pain medicine, whatever it is to make you just pass comfortably and just kind of live your final days in the most peaceful way possible.
And you just know. Like, I remember Grandpa, I had a couple family members in hospice. You just know it's just happening.
Yep.
Yeah, it's, like, really peaceful, though, I think. I mean, there is some that it's, like, slow, like, kind of excruciating, like, in pain, and then they die. But for the most part, it's kind of nice to have people have the option where it's like, okay, instead of continuing to do like a bunch of treatments and this and that, if they're in pain and they've like made peace with God and they're ready to go,
they're coming in just at peace.
Just to do that. Or maybe sometimes, a lot of times they come in pain from the hospital floor, and then we're able to kind of like get them cleaned up, get them some good medications, and then just kind of like have them go through like the dying journey in a lot better way than maybe like trying to fight till the end.
I think hospice is like a good thing because there's a lot of people who kind of like already know that they're on the final edge. Yeah. And I think it's good that they're able to have that ability to choose to just pass comfortably instead of be forced to suffer, and then have their family members not only have to grieve for the loss, but also grieve for the suffering that they are going through. So I think it's a good process to have for sure.
Yeah, because I think the saddest part, honestly, is
watching them in pain.
Either that or like it's like when they pass, it's like okay, you know, they're at peace now. But sometimes it's dealing with the families, you know, and it's like I love be able to be there for the families. But it's sometimes like they're not ready to let their loved ones go, which is understandable because I have to put myself in their shoes. Like if that was like someone who I was really close to, maybe they would be ready to go and I wouldn't be ready to let them go. Then I would be a little like emotional and sad and stuff. So being there for the families is what I liked most about that job.
So let me ask
it's also
you
gonna be like a tough thing too.
I want to know because I mean, obviously you saw some passings being in hospice. Now, does that desensitize you to like death in itself? Like you see death almost on a regular basis as a hospice person. Now, does that desensitize you from like general death and maybe in your own family if you were to encounter it, or you know?
I think it definitely made me like less afraid of death, like even for my own life too, because I saw people who were like good with their faith and good with their religion. Like it wasn't scary for them at all. But I think like at first you kind of, it's like a shock. You're like, okay, this isn't normal, right? And so you have to figure out how to deal with it. But I don't think it ever like loses its meaning or anything like that. You just get better at compartmentalizing your emotions for that and then dealing with them after work, you know, like whether that's like going to the gym and just having time to think things through. I like to journal too, to like remember specific things, you know, that I thought were kind of like a little sad or maybe some like beautiful things like that.
I also feel like another factor on that also adds is that not to sound like cold, but watching somebody else's family member pass versus like your mother or like somebody that you have shared those moments with and that have that love for is a way different a different grieving experience than watching somebody else pass. Because I feel like, I mean, I could be wrong, but I feel like probably the hardest part for you is not even watching the people pass, but watching the loved ones pain after they pass. Am I wrong or no?
No, you're 100% right. And with hospice too, with our unit, the night shift, it's not like a bunch of people. It's like one nurse and one CNA, and I was a CNA. So one time we had multiple people die around like the same time. So the nurse was in the room with like the people who had more family in there and everything. And then the other room, the guy had just passed. She just pronounced him dead. And she was like, can you go downstairs to that waiting room and get this lady's son and tell him that his mom just passed. And so like that was kind of hard for me to watch that. And I rode up in the elevator with him afterwards after telling him that like his mom passed. And that was when I was 18. That was my first time telling someone that their loved one passed away.
I don't think that I could ever be a hospice nurse, and I give complete credit to it because I'm kind of have like a little bit of like a I don't want to say I'm cold to death, but it's just like I know that people pass, and like I believe in God and I believe in afterlife in the sense that like you're gonna go to heaven or you're gonna go to hell. So I find peace in like the loved ones that I've lost, or that I have love for. But when for example, I saw my grandpa in hospice, I saw him pass. But what hurt me more when my grandpa was passing was seeing my family members hurt.
Yeah.
That was the hardest part of the whole thing. Not even my grandpa's passing, but just seeing my family members just be destroyed. That was the hardest thing for sure.
Yeah, especially if you know, like, they're good with Jesus, all that stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Then it's like you're kind of almost like happy for them if they were suffering. I don't want to say that to sound like cold or anything either.
I agree 100%.
Yeah,
Yep.
but then it's like the families.
But either
you don't
way, I don't even
that.
care. Like, you still gotta get used. Like, that's still a certain thing that most people do not go through, and it's kind of crazy. Like, for instance, like the one thing I will say, like while we're talking about other things that might make it easier in a hospice setting, is like, because on one hand, you're signing up for a job that's 100% fail, right? Like, like you're not working in a hospital. I mean, all right, 90% fail or something. You know what I mean?
Like 99 point. I had one person go home one time. We had a dance party. You want to hear the story?
Success rate.
You want to hear the story?
Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead. A very low success rate.
No, let's talk about the one.
I was gonna say though, but it's not failure because it's like it depends on what you classify as a failure. You can say
like death rate. The death rate.
Yeah.
But go. I would love the
one?
story.
So this was within the first month of me working there, and I think this is what kept me in the job instead of being like, I'm out. Because it's sad, because it's like you never see anyone get better. Because the people we get, they only have a few days or a few weeks to live.
Yeah.
But there was one lady, and she would not talk to anyone, and she was just kind of like cold, and understandably, she's like in there, and she's going through the whole like passing process. And then I went in there, and I was giving her a bed bath. That's super awkward. I don't know if, like, you guys know about that. But it's like, everyone's exposed to all that. So I was just trying to make talk with her.
That's worse than experiencing death.
Yeah. But,
Keep going, bro.
So, like, she didn't want a bed bath. But I was like, like, maybe. And she's like, fine. And then she started talking to me a little bit, and I was making jokes with her. A lot of people like to joke about death, if they're cool with that. And then so she started laughing by the end of this thing, and she wouldn't talk to anyone before. So during my lunch break, I clocked out, and then I went in there, and I skipped my lunch break, and I was like, you want to like steal a radio? And she was like, what? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, you don't have a radio in here. I'm like, do you want me to go steal a radio? I'm like, I'll go to another part of the hospital and grab a radio.
That's funny.
And she's like, yeah, I love music. Like, go do that. And so I made it like a whole thing where we were like searching for this radio, but she couldn't leave the room, obviously. She was bedbound. Yeah. So we found one, and then I was like, all right, who's like the hottest country singer you know? And she's like, Kenny Chesney. I'm like, you think he's hot? And she's like, in his prime. And so I found a CD. We were like talking. We were like, oh yeah, this guy's hot. We put it in, and we had a dance party in her room during my lunch break. And I got another nurse in there, and she got so happy. And I think it's like a mental thing too. Like if you're ready to go, but I guess she wasn't ready, and that was the only person I saw go back home.
Wow,
that's interesting. Did you ever hear about like the whole? I forgot what it was called, but I learned about it when I was in school. But it was like the experiment with like the water crystals and stuff like that. Did you ever hear about that?
Water crystals?
Yeah. So basically, like a guy found that whenever he was freezing water, if he played like if he was saying like hateful things, and like basically he had records of him saying hateful things, and then he had another record of saying like nice words, like you're beautiful, you're kind, you're smart, or it's like I hate you, you're ugly. But basically, whenever he was freezing the water, if he played those hateful words and hateful messages and just kind of like just put hatred to it, the water crystals would form like
you put
like middle fingers.
No. They would freeze deformed.
Oh,
and then
really?
then whenever he was saying like the positive things, the crystals were forming perfectly. And it was actually like a well documented experiment that's been like redone many times. I forgot the name of it, but I'll pull it up. But it's like an actual real experiment, and it's actually really interesting. And it just kind of shows that like words hold a lot more. It's like, the energy. Yeah, the energy travels a lot more than we actually know. But I'll look up the name of it. I forgot.
But so what he's saying, because you know what? At first I was thinking like, what the fuck he's talking about? But you know what? I also heard a story of somebody doing the same thing he said to an actual tree.
The plants, right?
And he was like, yo, fuck you plant, you dirty plant. And the plant was just not growing, like limp dick. And then he said to the other plant, and he was like, you're beautiful, you're great, you're going to flourish. And the other plant flourished. So I'm just supporting his view, but I do have
energy matters.
Energy matters, but what I wanted to ask,
so it was called Mazuro Emoto.
Oh.
Yep.
Mazuro Emoto.
Yep.
Okay.
Mazaru
Japanese.
Emoto.
Say it in a sentence.
Yeah. Okay,
yeah.
But I want to know. So, did seeing all that and getting, because you got into hospice 18, right? Mm-hmm. So,
Yeah,
you did it for how long?
I was in there for 2 years. Yeah.
So, getting into it at an early age, did that help, like, also mature you quicker? Because I'm only saying that because
100%.
seeing death, I know that matured me quick. So I don't know how that takes other people. Like, does that make you feel like, you know what, like, I don't want to party and fucking do crazy shit. I'd rather just be on my shit.
Yeah,
you know?
like 1,000%, I think so. And like a few different aspects. Like for one of them, I feel like when you're like 18, 19, even into your 20s and 30s, it's really easy to get caught up in things and kind of get like ungrateful and be like, oh, well, this went wrong today, so like fuck my life, right? But it's like you see someone and you're like, okay, well, like at least I'm not actively dying right now.
Yeah.
You know, I could be here, or maybe you'll be like, have some like body image issues one day, right? And be like, oh, like I'm breaking out, or I don't like how my body looks. And then you see someone who has like a million tubes in them and holes and like bed sores, and you can see their bones through these bed sores, and you're like, my skin doesn't look like that. Like I need to be really thankful for what I have. Yeah.
Perspective is everything, man. Like,
100%.
and they got like books on it and all this shit, like the power of perspective. But it's like, man, like we were talking about it on the last episode that we recorded, where it's like, it's funny how you go on vacation, like a great vacation, and you come back and you're just like, damn, like a little bit of like, what made me happy in that moment? Why don't I do that in real life? Like, why do I push, you know, why do I put these weird things around me mentally that makes me like, you know, uncomfortable all the time, you know? But like, I know there's a difference between reality and vacation, but it does come down to like perspective and how it kind of like morphs based off like what you go through, like for better or worse, right? Like I think like what you went through, while it sucked, like it changed your perspective in the best way ever, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
but
I
then
think
we
so.
fall in like into little traps where our perspective gets skewed wrong. You know what I
Right.
mean?
We're human.
Yeah. You know something that shocked me with death, now that like we're still on the subject of that, is the fact that how fast the human body turns cold.
Yeah.
It turns so cold
When it goes
so
through
fast.
rigor mortis and everything,
Yeah,
it's
it
definitely
turns cold fast, and I was
Yeah.
that was really shocking to me.
It's definitely a little interesting. That was something I had to get used to, because the whole like death thing didn't freak me out, but like when the bodies were still warm but they were not alive, you know, and then it's like they look like they're still alive, but then you give them just like a few minutes, you know, you go do something else, you come back in, and it's like
Cold
it just
shit.
looks like a
Gone.
corpse. It
Yeah.
doesn't look like the same person who was there 5 minutes ago, right?
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. That's something that shocked me, was for sure with that. But yeah.
Yeah, and sometimes if like their family wanted to come back to say bye to their body or anything before we called the funeral home, we would take their body and like comb their hair and like put their
Yeah.
arms in the positions that they would look better, you know, like make them look more comfortable, because then rigor mortis happens and then the body gets stiff. So it's like if we left them how they passed away, and sometimes like if the eyes were open, right, we would have to try to like shut the eyes, and they don't always shut, but because then your body's gonna stiffen, and it's like
Yep.
you want to be as presentable as you can for when their family comes
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
to say goodbye. Yeah.
Definitely. On that note,
No,
I know, very fun talk.
no, this is interesting though. But the next thing I want to talk about too is you do cancer research. When did you start that? How is that process? While you're in school, what's going on there?
that's a lot of questions there, Cruz. You just dropped like 6 questions on one sentence. That was
Answer
impressive.
all of them. She got this.
It's okay. Hey, like I like to talk about it because whenever I go on dates, I made a rule for myself. I'm like, I'm not going to talk anything about research because I get excited about it, and I just talk someone's ear off about it. I'm sure no one cares that much, but so I actually started when I got into UCF when I was still in high school. So I started most of this stuff like when I turned 18. When I was finally an adult, I was like, so many more doors are opening now, and I wanted to take advantage of that. So I got into UCF, and then I started emailing every single professor, researcher, person I could find who did cancer research, because that's what I was interested in. And I made a resume, and I sent it to them in a cover letter. And I was like, even if it's just washing dishes in your lab, I was like, I really want to be a part of this. I'm coming in as a freshman. You'll have me for a longer amount of time. And I spent so many hours sending those, and one of the top people that I was interested in their research actually got back to me, and she does oral and esophageal cancer research.
Okay.
And I had an interview with them, and it was before I was technically a student at UCF too, but like it was something I didn't mention. And then I got in, and I was just expecting to be washing dishes and all this, but they really like wanted to teach me how to do stuff. And now everyone who was there originally is either in med school or graduated or is teaching now. So now it's me and some other girls who are also undergrads, and we're going to do all the research there. We get to do experiments. We get to get on publications. We get to do everything. It's like super awesome.
And what is your guys' research in regards to that cancer? What is your guys' like treatment that you guys are planning on doing?
Yeah, so we do like 3 different things in our lab, but the thing that I work the most on is vape research. So how vape affects your oral epithelial cells and different types of. I mean, it's probably better to vape than do like heroin.
Yeah,
Is it?
Great. I'm so happy to hear that.
Did you research on heroin? Do we know?
Okay, no, this is not official.
No, talk about it. Let's go.
Because one's injected, the other one's actually like.
I don't know.
Have you guys started seeing like a correlation between the two?
So this is just like preliminary research.
Yeah,
we have like one publication on it now, but obviously I can't give any official advice.
Yeah,
or
of
anything
course.
like that.
I'm just saying like from what you guys have seen so far.
Yeah, so far we've seen certain stemness markers be upregulated in our certain like oral epithelial cells that we expose to vape treatments. So that's like one section of our lab. We do that, but we all help each other now because we had a bunch of people go to medical school, so we're all trying to help and pick up the slack now. But we also do a lot of stuff with like bile, and acid reflux and the progression from like GERD to Barrett's esophagus, to adenocarcinoma, and then we also do some stuff with mucins as well.
Mucins. Well, what are mucins exactly?
Like Mucinex?
Mucins is like kind of secreted by cells.
Okay.
This is something that one of our guys who just is in medical school right now, he kind of left off, so we're picking it up. I've only been working on it for a month now.
Okay.
But it's secreted by cells, and so we do stuff and like see how biofilm formations happen with that.
Okay,
It's a lot of fun.
Wow.
I don't know.
Really
I like
cool.
it.
That's really interesting. That's really, really cool.
Yeah.
This man said Mucinex.
No.
To have a passion that can save people? Fuck yeah, that's amazing.
Wow. No, Jasmine, super impressive. Super awesome. You're not even like, you're doing so
You're
much.
only 20 years old.
Things.
I mean, shit.
What's your goals? Like, what's your short-term goals and long-term goals? I'm interested.
My short-term goals?
Yeah, what's like a...
So I wrote out my goals like for this new year and everything, and it was to get outside my comfort zone more because I'm really good at like getting like academic goals and like work goals and stuff like that. I love to just do that, but I want to make sure that when I'm like, on my deathbed, I'm like, hey, I did some crazy stuff. So I like to surprise myself. Like I signed up to do this bikini contest at Daytona Bike Week. Like it was really random, and I was like kind of like out of the box for me, but I was like, hey, let's do it. Like I started trying to go to like salsa with my roommates.
Oh,
like,
that's
so
cool.
Try to do that. Just like different
dance
things.
classes are so much fun too.
Yeah, I'm terrible at it. Like I'm really bad, but I have so much fun. And, like my smile hurts my face at the end.
Where are you practicing at?
Salsa Heat.
Salsa Heat. Okay, I did Fred Astaire before.
Really? I haven't heard of it, but I'm
does
new to this.
Elizabeth go to Salsa Heat? Didn't she say Salsa Heat?
I forgot what she said. Yeah, I think it might be.
Elizabeth Sabalon?
I don't know a bunch of people
Sabalon.
there yet because we just started going to Salsa Heat this past month.
Okay.
There's a lot of people, but
is it out in UCF area?
yeah, it's really close.
Okay,
to
so
UCF.
never mind.
That's really cool though. That's cool. That's
No,
interesting.
yeah.
But it's kind of like, like right now I'm dating myself. That's what I like to say. But it's like, okay, you're in a marriage, you got to keep things like spicy and interesting, right? So when you're dating yourself in a different aspect, just all in general, you got to keep it spicy in your life. Like you got to try new things. You got to keep yourself excited and be like, oh, I wouldn't expect that from me, and just like do something out of the box. Yeah.
Hell yeah, that's awesome, man. It's gonna be. What about long term? Besides
Long-term?
motherhood.
I mean, I want to be a physician, God willing, and then obviously, I want to have kids and just be like the best mom and best wife I can be to whoever that is in the future.
That was a PR answer.
Yo,
1000%.
these guys.
Oh my gosh.
That was like a perfect PR answer.
Shit.
But no, honestly, that's what it is. And even when I was a younger teenager, I was just I want to be I want to have my family be my biggest accomplishment. I want to eventually be the best wife I can be and best mom I can be, and put that over everything else. Because at the end of the day, whatever you do for a job, no matter how much passion you have for it, it's still a job.
Do you find it hard, guys your age impressing you right now?
What do you mean?
Fuck.
20-year-olds.
And he's talking about in the sense to be able to match the attributes that you bring.
Do you date guys your age?
I mean, I'd say the age range, because
a couple years.
You talk about some dates you went on. What were the ages range?
Okay,
NBA. Well, no, that could be
I would
3
say
years.
that in the past year, the youngest and the oldest in the past year.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Okay, in the past year, the youngest was 19 and the oldest was 32.
What?
Okay.
No.
But I'd say most of them are like around my age. Okay, like 20 to 25. Like I would say 25 is a sweet spot because at that point your brain's fully developed, and a lot of guys get out of like the kind of like crazy stage, and they're more like thinking more long term clearly. But it's like right now, it's like I don't want to like have kids right now or anything, so it's just more like casual dating.
Yeah, so 32 might have been rough, but the 25 was a sweet spot.
That's what I'm saying. I feel like your brain's fully developed, and like you're out of college, or maybe you're like starting a graduate program or something like that.
Your career, makes sense. 1,000% makes sense.
No, because that makes sense to me. Because I'm like, yo, I was like putting my thumb in my butt when I was 20 years old.
Right, 20, I was a freaking, I was ridiculous.
Smell my finger type of kid.
This guy,
I'm sorry.
Bro.
I'm just
as you can see, at 26, 27, he's still
developing.
He's still developing.
No, and that's like it's okay. Like you don't have to be like perfect all the time. Like it's okay to be at your own pace.
No, he felt his bump bed a couple times, so we give him some extra tolerance.
Yeah, no, because it's just like, I mean, you're doing so much shit. It's like
no, it's impressive.
Jesus, yeah, it takes
It's dope.
Thanks. I mean, I feel like when I go out with guys, it's like you can't compare like apples to oranges.
Absolutely,
so it's like what I'm doing a lot of times isn't the same thing as what they're doing, So it's like I like to respect their own grind and like what they're doing. But as far as like the guys trying to impress me, I like kind of look more for like the guys that I feel good hanging out around. Like the ones, if we go on a date, I know they got it taken care of, like I don't have to have my brain on all the time around them, because I have my brain on doing everything else all the time. So it's like, it's nice to be with someone and then you can like turn your brain off and know that they got it. If you have a problem, they can take care of it, and that kind of helps you go from being more of like dominant in your life and being like, okay, go get her and like on all the time, to being like in a more submissive, like feminine mode.
Honestly, at this point, I honestly think the age thing is more so maturity, because you're just mature.
Yeah.
But I can see as you get older, maybe even being open to younger men, because like you're not into the I don't want to say success, but that competitive type of dude, that on type of dude, that like, like the stockbroker type of guy or whatever, like you're not impressing me. You're actually like stressing me out. Like that's how you feel. No. I can see that though.
No,
where it's like, you'd rather have somebody more
alpha
chill.
Guys, okay? Like I like when the guys
like
have their own like they have like their own goals.
Yeah.
Yeah, like they have their own goals, and they're working hard. They're not just like fucking around all the time. Like I think that's really attractive, like ambitious guys, but there's guys who will just like talk, like talking about I'm gonna do this, this, and this. But then there's guys who are like putting in the time, putting the work. And especially too, I see like when people have that thing in their career, they also will be that way in other aspects of their life. So like sometimes I go after like gym guys because it's like they have discipline in the gym. A lot of the times that will carry over to other aspects of their life. So I like it when they have their own thing going on. They're secure in themselves, and so I feel like you need to find someone that's matched with you at that level so you can grow together.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, like there's give and takes for sure. Mm-hmm. Shout out to the gym guys too. God,
they got 6-packs. I don't blame you.
Not even all of that. Just like they take care of themselves. They take care of
themselves. I don't blame you. Look at them shit. I be wanting to take some gym guys home sometimes, and I don't even roll like that.
No, I'd like some non-gym guys too. Okay.
Like, damn, bro, you looking good.
No, that's a fact.
No, like I've like some guys who like don't like to go to the gym.
We're just making jokes. We're just making jokes.
Okay.
We're just joking.
All right. Anything else you guys want? Is there anything you wanted to get off? I feel like we touched so much. Like thank you for coming on the podcast.
Thanks for having me. You guys are awesome.
Super interesting convo, because it's like super fun and lighthearted, and then we got super demented with your experience there, and then we ended it back. This was very interesting.
Full swing round, full 360.
Jazzysurf, Jasmine.
In the description below, check out her stuff. She's dope. She's got a lot of cool stuff going on, so definitely check.
Great follow. Gustavo, if you're watching this far, just follow her.
Who's Gustavo?
That's one of my friends.
Oh, are you gonna put me on?
Yeah.
All right, that's what's up.
Gustavo, there you go. The door's open. Not just swinging. I don't know who Gustavo is, but okay, cool.
Thank you for watching another week. Those of you guys listening, thank you for listening another week. We love you guys. Hope you love the guest, Jasmine. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was a great conversation. I appreciated you coming.
Hell yeah,
honestly.
All right, Paco, watch out.
Watch out.